right,
he was a lot better than Justin Fields.
Whenever we need to see flashes, we hit up our guy Zach Stevens.
Right.
And we can't see him right now. So, unfortunately, Zach, don't flash us because we won't even be able to see it if you do. What's going on?
Hey, fellas, I'm standing outside the stadium. They just kicked everyone out, so I don't get a cool view of the stadium. But I want to ask you guys, how are the vibes in Broncos country right now? I've just been writing, so I don't really know how the fans are feeling.
It's a mix of a win is a win. There's that, style of person. And there's another style of person who is, quite frankly, offended by the football game that they had to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it was as ugly as a football game as you can watch. It reminded me so much of the Broncos-Jets game last year where it ended in a 10-9 win for the Broncos, came down to a last-second field goal. The difference is that game was played in really, really, really bad conditions. Today's game was about as good of conditions as you can have, and the defense took advantage of it. And, guys, you'll be shocked to hear this, but I'm coming away from this game with a positive mindset. I'm feeling good about the Broncos. Obviously, we'll talk about the offense, and there's things that have to be cleaned up and fixed because that was brutal. But the defense, guys, this is why I'm okay with this game. Number one, the Broncos got to win, and the vibe in the locker room and talking to players was kind of like, we won. It just kind of reminding everyone, like, we won. Now the offense certainly not celebrating, but the offense is thrilled for what the defense did today. Now, it can't be like it has been for much of the last 10 years where the offense is relying on the defense to do this game in and game out, season in and season out. This has to be an anomaly because you can't win games consistently when you score 13 points. That's just not acceptable. But, guys, let's talk about this defensive performance because it was historical. There are so many things that you can point to that just either have never been done or haven't been done in 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. Let's just start with the 82 yards that the Broncos gave up. In the past 50-plus years, the Broncos have allowed under 100 yards just 5 times, and this was one of them. They've done it actually twice this calendar year. The other one was against the Chiefs in Week 18, but the Chiefs weren't playing their starters. So that's like, okay, well, that one maybe not as impressive. This one, the Jets
those were the
Jets
starters?
Exactly, those were the Jets starters. See, Benny, they're starters. I'm giving you that credit there. They're not starters because they were disastrous. So the 82 yards, historical. 9 sacks. That hasn't happened by the Broncos since, I believe, 1996. It definitely hasn't happened since 2000. So that is insane right there. The Broncos did not allow the Jets in the red zone. Think about that. The Jets did not take a single red zone snap in this game. Just absolutely insane. 8 different guys had sacks here. Just an incredible, incredible performance by this Broncos defense.
Zach, what did Coach Sean Payton say in his press conference?
Well, he talked and talked and talked and talked. He had a 30-minute press conference after this game, and so that kind of shows you the mood that he was in. Not pleased with his offense by any means. He just kept saying, I got to review the film. I got to review the film. So he didn't really get into specifics. Bo Nix did get into specifics about the offense. The one thing that he really pointed to was we just had absolutely no rhythm. And it's clear what Bo Nix needs. Maybe not for his entire career, but for what Bo Nix needs right now, he needs tempo. He needs to get into a rhythm. He needs no huddle. Now, I know you can't do that 100% of a game, every single game for an entire season, but they need to do it more because they did it a little bit in the first quarter. And look, Bo was great. 11 of 13, 101 passing yards. He had 11 rushing yards as well. Had that touchdown. It looked like the Broncos were just going to cruise by the Jets in this game, and then everything stopped because they got out of tempo, they got out of rhythm, and that was the thing that Bo pointed to. And guys, it was disastrous. I mean, six straight drives where the opposing defense scores more than your offense. They had 2 points compared to the Broncos' 0 points with their defensive performance by the Jets with getting that safety. Bo Nix has 0 completions in the second half until 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It was comically bad. It was a game that the offense had no business winning, but because the defense was so good. And so that was kind of the vibe in the locker room after, and specifically from Sean was, man, hats off to the defense. Bo said it was impossible what they did today, the defense. So it was all credit to the defense and not panic or worry about the offense, but we got to get this cleaned up because the Broncos offense also did not look good for 3 quarters last week in their game and then turned it on in the 4th quarter. You can rarely do that and have success. That's what makes the Broncos 3 straight wins really impressive, specifically the last 2. They have not played complete games on both sides of the ball in these games, yet they're 3-0 in the past 3 games with a terrible, terrible schedule in terms of playing Monday night on a short week, then going to Philadelphia, then coming to London. So the fact that they're 3-0 after that, and Pat Surtain pointed that out after the game, is truly very, very impressive. And as coaches always like to say, you like to fix mistakes after a win instead of a loss.
Zach, you were obviously there last week after the Broncos beat the Eagles. I'm just curious how you would compare kind of the post-game vibes, the attitude of the locker room from last week to this week, which, we say a win's a win. Both of them were wins, but I have to imagine they were quite different.
Oh, they were very, very different. Ryan, your voice reminds me of how the locker room was last week after the win. Just so much hooting and hollering. Guys are probably losing their voices because of the parties and celebrations that happened in the locker room. Whereas there was no hooting and hollering, screaming. Last week, literally the door was shaking inside the Broncos locker room because of how Club Dub was popping. I did not hear Club Dub, and we were pretty close to the locker room. So I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it was very, very different. And it kind of felt like everyone kind of had to remind themselves, especially on the offensive side, oh, yeah, we did win. We did win. So they are enjoying it, and specifically this defense. And, guys, I can't tell you how the offense just, as they should have, just praised the defense over and over and over again. And the defensive guys, pretty darn happy. I asked Nick Benito, I said, oh, the negative 10 passing yards. How have I not brought that up yet? That is absolutely insane. Especially when you think about it this way, the Jets had more passing yards before the game started than when the game ended. And we're talking about the easiest stat that you can get in football is passing yards. I'm sure someone's going to have a 350-yard day today. The Jets had negative 10, which is just insane. And so I asked Nick, have you ever been part of a game where there's been negative 10 passing yards? And he just starts laughing. And he's like, no, that's so funny, which is exact words. And it's silly what the Broncos defense did today. They made life a living hell for Justin Fields. And, man, I felt bad for him because, Justin Fields could do nothing. And then you could tell midway through the game he was so in his head. He was seeing ghosts, and then he was being hit by Jonathan Cooper. 8 different guys had a sack. That is crazy. That's impressive if 8 guys have a catch in a single game from one team. 8 guys with a sack? Come on now.
That's incredible. Zach, did Sean talk about their travel plans? Are they traveling back tonight? And then also, how are they going to recover just coming from, being on the road for such a long time?
Yeah, it's a great question, Benny. And they are traveling back tonight. So they'll actually be in Denver on Sunday, which is kind of crazy to think, but with that time change there. So they did not even go back to the hotel. They just went straight to the airport and are taking off. And then this week, so I mentioned how they had the short week on Monday, then they had to go to Philly, then they had to go to London after Philly. And there was a lot of moving parts there and how difficult that was to manage. Sean actually said the toughest week for the players in terms of their bodies and readjusting isn't any of that. It's this coming week. So to your point, Benny, this is the important week, according to Sean and his sleep experts and everyone he has on staff that deals with players' bodies, is this coming week. So I wouldn't be surprised if Wednesday's an easier practice, a lighter practice, more of a walkthrough, and then they're back in it on Thursday and Friday. The players will have Tuesday off. I'm not sure what tomorrow is going to look like. I do know that media has been canceled for tomorrow, so there won't be any pressers there. But this is the week, and this is also kind of what'd you call it, the diaper changing week?
Yep.
Ryan?
Yep.
This is one where you kind of gotta. Sean's he's not saying this, but he's leading on if there's a trap game, it wasn't today, although it was for the offense. It's this coming week because of how the travel's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, diaper change game, travel game. There's a lot at stake there. One, I would like to borrow one of Sean's sleep specialists for this week. And two, did anyone, Zach, apologize to the great people of the United Kingdom for the product that was put on the field by the National Football League today?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. And I'll tell you how Sean made up for it. He had that 30-minute press conference where he answered every single national or international reporter's questions to try to probably get them on their good side after having to witness that offensive performance, which certainly was not enjoyable. And speaking of the international, boy, did Tottenham put on a show. And what was it, just an incredible atmosphere. And guys, that really got me thinking, being around here, obviously the fans made it special, but this is why the Broncos are building a new stadium. Yes, their current stadium is totally fine. Don't need a new one, but you can take it up 10 notches, and that's exactly what the Broncos are going to do. So shout out to London, shout out to all the fans that were out here and so many of the ones we met, because this was a really, really cool environment.
Shout out to you, Zach.
Shout out to you, Zach. All right.
Shout out to you guys. Wait, really quick. Just want to share one moment that happened during the press conferences. So Nick Benito is getting Pat Surtain's walking off the podium. Nick Benito's getting on the podium, and Pat says, "Depoy for Defensive Player of the Year," because that is what Nick Benito is looking at, guys. He's on pace to still break Michael Strahan's sack record of 22.5. He's on pace for 22.67, so just on pace to break that right now. Yeah, a little 6'7" there. I see what you're doing. Shout out to Nick for that sack celebration too. That's who Nick Benito is right now. And the cool thing is Jonathan Cooper played even better than him today, potentially. And that just shows how freaking good this defense is. And one more thing from the podium. Shout out to, I don't remember who pointed this out after, so shout out to just everyone in Broncos media. But Sean Payton directly talked about Vance Joseph and used his name today after the game. That's how you know that Vance had a hell of a game, is when Sean is giving him a call out, because he doesn't do that often. So shout out to Vance for a hell of a game too. Justin Strnad had 1.5 sacks in this game. Jonathan Cooper led the team with 2, and man, this defense, you win Super Bowls with a defense that plays like this.
Shout out to you, Zach. Appreciate you for chiming in and giving us the scoop, and get back to the hotel safely.
All right, see you, fellas. Go check
All right,
out DNVR.com. I got a couple of stories already up there right now.
There you go.